Let's get to it. What's happened and what's happening now?
Bill and Dana, good morning. Hamilton Hall behind me is now occupied by dozens of protesters. We are now on day 9 of this takeover of the building. Take a look behind me. This is the building. This is as close as we are allowed to get. You can see one of the banners unfurled here. It says Free Palestine. We have not been able to see any of the protesters or occupiers inside of that building from this vantage point. But if you give you a little sense of where we're at, you move over to the left a little bit, Anthony, you can show them those are all residential dorm buildings. Right next door to where all of this chaos unfolded. These students are now waking up this morning, beginning to study for final exams, which begin on Friday. And if we take you over here around the Hamilton building, you can see this is a line of students now that are now trying to get into the campus. The campus right now is under a limited access only. Only students who live on campus and essential personnel are allowed onto campus. This is a direct response to the takeover of the Hamilton building at 12:30 last night. If I actually kind of cut through here, I can show you. Again, this is as close as we're allowed to go. It's a private university. This is outside. We haven't heard any of the protesters, but this all began at 12:30 in the morning. Protesters that were in the encampment began to storm the building with backpacks and sleeping bags. They broke glass to get into that building, and once they were inside, they started unfurling those banners and chanting. There were 3 maintenance workers inside at the time, according to the Columbia Daily Spectator, the newspaper here. One of those maintenance workers who got out said, quote, "We were held hostage." So right now, that is the latest from that event. But I want to bring you over here to this long line as these students and faculty are trying to make their way in. There's somebody here we spoke to. His name is Jeremy. Jeremy, he is an undergraduate senior. Jeremy, you were trying to get into the university here. Tell me, they denied you.
Yeah, well, we had originally called public safety about 6:30 this morning when we got the email saying that only a very select few students were going to be able to have access to the campus, and I called public safety, and they assured us, quite brusquely I might add, that we were able to have access. And so we walked down here, and lo and behold, we're not given access.
You're trying to eat, and you said you're a low-income student. Can you explain all this?
I think you just explained it. I'm trying to eat, and I'm a low-income student. I luckily just heard back from some of the administrators in my program. They've graciously let us know that we can go to Barnard College or Teachers College, which was 2 of the affiliate universities or colleges of Columbia, and we can go grab some grub there. But I'm just not liking the amount of chaos that is ensuing around breakfast. You know?
And finally, what are your thoughts on the fact that your fellow students here have taken over a building, broke in, they've entered, and this is now escalated to where it is?
Oh, I think escalating is the word, right? I think that it was a misstep, and I wish that they would have engaged with the university when President Suffolk had come to the table last week. I think that it's a bit of a tragedy, you know, and I think that we need to pack up and go home now.
How does this end?
That's a good question. I guess that people like yourself in the news have to keep asking tough questions and see where the chips fall.
Do you want to see the NYPD come in here?
No, I don't. In fact, that was one of the most disruptive elements of the past few weeks. You know, I've been very concerned to see the amount of guns and armaments around the campus, and I'm not happy with the presence of the NYPD. I think anytime you have NYPD, it's not
even though you can't eat food and you're trying to study, you don't want the NYPD to come in here and break up what's going on.
Hey, look, I'm developing these types of answers to these types of questions over breakfast. So I'll chat with me later today. I'll tell you how I feel.
Well, Jeremy, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, though. But that's just kind of the situation out here, guys, as we are still awaiting an official response from the university. This is all happening after they announced that they were going to conduct suspensions of those students. And yet, after making that announcement, faculty members joined in the protesters, which grew overnight in that encampment, and then they felt emboldened to storm Hamilton Hall, and now we all wait for what the next step will be.
Brian,
Dana,
good reporting up there. Thank you. We'll be back with you momentarily. You're right about those deadlines. They came and went and took no action, and they are left with what they have now, and who knows how long this will last. Brian, thank you. Upper West Side there in Manhattan.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.